Hey people, how are you? How are you on this Friday afternoon, this Friday evening? It's riveting, isn't it? It's just hit 8 o'clock here. Actually, 7 o'clock is a daylight savings. I'm sorry, that clock's actually a bit fast. We're looking at Think and Grow Rich, the book by Napoleon Hill, and I've got it on the first page. It's the preface. What do you want most? Is it money, fame, power, contentment, personality, peace of mind, happiness? So this book's about spiritual wealth, people, and it's a recipe for abundance, just as a vibrational form, and actually success, where you manifest rich in the truest sense of the word. So, without further ado, let's keep reading. The 13 steps to riches described in this book offer the shortest dependable philosophy of individual achievement ever presented for the benefit of the man or woman who is searching for a definite goal in life. Definite, that's an interesting word, isn't it? Definite, deliberate. What else would I say? Determined is another word that comes to mind. Sure of yourself is another word that comes to mind. Confidence. But we'll keep reading. Before beginning the book, you will profit greatly if you recognize the fact that the book was not written to entertain. You cannot digest the contents properly in a week or a month. Yeah, so it's one of those things that you will recall facts later and you'll be like, oh, that's what that meant. That's what that meant. And it'll all just, like the puzzle pieces will just fall in. But as you read, the puzzle pieces will also just connect in your conscience. You will actually join the dots. After reading the book thoroughly, Dr. Miller Reese Hutchinson, nationally known consulting engineer and lifetime associate of Thomas A. Edison, said, "This is not a novel." So Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. "This is not a novel. It is a textbook on individual achievement that came directly from the experiences of hundreds of America's most successful men. It should be studied, digested, and meditated upon." That's interesting, isn't it? Studied, digested, and meditated upon. No more than one chapter should be read in a single night. Because you absorb more with smaller increments, people. The reader should underline the sentences which impress him most, because what stands out to you the most are the things that you're going to find meaningful, and that is what you're going to manifest, okay? So that will be your form of abundance, because it's all about vibration. It's not about the meaning of, it's about meaning rather than the condition itself or the sentence itself, right? It's the meaning you give to it that matters. Later, he should go back to these marked lines and read them again. It's a personal thing. A real student will not merely read this book, he will absorb its contents and make them his own. The book should be adopted by all high schools, and no boy or girl should be permitted to graduate without having satisfactorily passed an examination on it. The philosophy will not take the place of the subjects taught in schools, but it will enable one to organise and apply the knowledge acquired, because knowledge is useful. We'll keep going. To organise and apply the knowledge acquired and convert it into useful service and adequate compensation without waste of time. Dr. John R. Turner, Dean of College of the City of New York, after having read this book, said, "The very best example of the soundness of this philosophy is your own son, Blair, whose dramatic story you have outlined in the chapter on desire." Dr. Turner had reference to the author's son, who, born without normal hearing capacity, not only avoided becoming a deaf mute, but actually converted his handicap into a priceless asset by applying the philosophy here described. After reading the story, starting on page 52, You will realize that you are about to come into possession of a philosophy which can be transmuted into material wealth, or serve as readily to bring you peace of mind, understanding, spiritual harmony, and in some instances, as in the case of the author's son, it can help you master physical affliction. The most profitable way to use this book. So this is the new heading. The author discovered, through personally analysing hundreds of successful men, that all of them followed the habit of exchanging ideas through what is commonly called conferences. When they had problems to be solved, they sat down together and talked freely until they discovered, from their joint contribution of ideas, a plan that would serve their purpose. So that's a collective information platform where everyone's unraveling the contents of their idea platform to help people, basically. So that's what they did. They exchanged ideas and worked together as people. So God was there working with them, and he said, thank you, faggot, because that's exactly what he did, right? So you who read this book, I'll tell you a story, actually. The people that designed some of the old trains, God said that they were Centrelink people. That's what he said, that designed the old trains, and the trams in Melbourne, and they were passionate people that were doing that job, and that's how they got the intuition to make the trams. So take the meaning of it from what you will, but that's what he said. They basically put themselves first, and they took charge of their life, and they did what made them happy, and they utilized what they had to do something that was very successful, is what God was meaning from that. But carrying on. You who read this book will get most out of it by putting into practice the mastermind principle described in the book. This you can do as others are doing so successfully by forming a study club consisting of any desired number of people who are friendly and harmonious. The club should have a meeting at regular periods, as often as once each week. The procedure should consist of reading one chapter of the book at each meeting, after which the contents of the chapter should be freely discussed by all members. So it's basically enhancing the knowledge that's here into the collective information platform of those who read the book, where others are actually drawing their own conclusions and building on what's here to make their own manifestation, collective manifestation, which is a firm, strong, goal-oriented endeavour. And accountable endeavour as well, and one where you will go away from the group and you will be inspired to work and feel motivated to work in your own time, because you just will. It's fun to utilise your own independence and creativity and be collaborative. It's like how opposites enhance each other. Basically, it actually works. So we'll keep going. Each member should make notes, putting down all ideas of his own. And that's in capital words, all ideas of his own, inspired by the discussion. Each member should carefully read and analyse each chapter several days prior to its open reading and joint discussion in the club. The reading at the club should be done by someone who reads well and understands how to put colour and feeling into the lines. By following this plan, every reader will get from its pages not only the sum total of the best knowledge organised from the experiences of hundreds of successful men, but more important by far, he will tap new sources of knowledge in his own mind, as well as acquire knowledge of priceless value from every other person present. Exactly. If you follow this plan persistently, you will be almost certain to uncover and appropriate the secret formula by which Andrew Carnegie acquired his huge fortune, as referred to in the author's introduction. Fortune happens with people because that's where value happens, right? So this is a lead into that. So you're getting the benefit of hundreds of successful men analysed here into more people who are analysing together, and that creates fortune. In short, with you within it as well, functioning as a cog within the machine. Tributes to the author from great American leaders. So this is another title. Think and Grow Rich was 25 years in the making. It is Napoleon Hill's newest book based upon his famous law of success philosophy. His work and writings have been praised by great leaders in finance, education, politics, government. Supreme Court of the United States, Washington, D.C. So this is from him. Dear Mr. Hill, I have now had an opportunity to finish reading your Law of Success textbooks, and I wish to express my appreciation of the splendid work you have done in the organisation of this philosophy. It would be helpful if every politician in the country would assimilate and apply the 17 principles upon which your lessons are based. It contains some very fine material which every leader in every walk of life should understand. I am happy to have had the privilege of rendering you some slight measure of help in the organisation of this splendid course of common sense philosophy. Sincerely yours, signature. Former President and former Chief Justice of the United States. King of the 5 and 10 cent stores. By applying many of the 17 fundamentals of the Law of Success philosophy, we have built a great chain of successful stores. I presume it would be no exaggeration of fact if I said that the Woolworth building might properly be called a monument to the soundness of these principles. F. W. Woolworth. Okay, I might actually skip over some of these. Content. So we're now at the start of the book. So it's got 15 chapters, right? I personally read about the first 20 or 25 pages and understood the whole book and didn't keep reading because I knew where the book was going. And my spirit guides actually said they knew that because if you know the spirit, this is a book based on spiritual knowledge, so it's basically another interpretation of the same formula with different elements to it. So this is talking about people working with people, right? So right, that's all people wanted to hear, so I will stop there.